So hi everybody, this is meeting for the working group green reviews of the TAG Environmental Sustainability and falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct that can be summarized with be nice with each other. And today we'll quickly give a wrap up of what's going on. Then we have some items on the agenda. But first, I would like to give the opportunity, because like the other time I forgot this, to like other people who are new might be new, to present themselves. I don't know if I saw Sam. I don't know if you want to quickly introduce yourself in past meetings.
Okay, I don't know if it's me or you are referring to, or if there's another Sam in the meeting, but I am not new to the meeting. Just that I've not been frequent because of work schedule. But yeah, I'm not so new. Yeah, and I follow up on the chat. Yeah. But I'm Sam, and I work as a cloud dev at Ericsson in Sweden, Stockholm. Yeah.
Okay, then my bad again. And welcome back. And let me share the screen so that maybe we can have we can start with the board. So where are we now? And a couple of issues. So now the screen should be shared. Basically what we would like to do is to always the same. So get out some metrics for the Falco idle. This is the tracking issue. And you can see we have successfully deployed Falco with the help of Melissa and the Falco team. And now we are into collecting and visualizing the metrics steps. And we have created some issues with that. So in the meanwhile, we're also trying to track how to get the kernel event rate for testing, but we'll get back later to that. And so the issues that we have open right now, okay, there is one password which is needed for sharing the kube config, but this is not so relevant. Then we have how to monitor the kernel event rate. And this discussion has been also redirected to the Falco security repo, and like this issue here. So basically, Falco already writes some metrics at this path here, so temp stats folder, and it exposes those metrics, including the kernel event rate. So I think we're good to go. Like the metrics are there. The only question is like how to let these metrics be graphed in Grafana, and that this would be the next step. It's also the object of this issue here. So we have discussed together some solutions for that. So again, the objective is how to visualize in a Grafana dashboard we want to build those metrics that would come from Falco, especially these kernel event rates. And yeah, there are a few options. One is to use a Prometheus exporter. Another one is to maybe have a custom script that would read the metrics from the file and save them into a database. Another one would be to see if there is some endpoint, REST API endpoint that Falcos already exports, so that Grafana can read from there directly. And related to this, I already asked Melissa if by chance there is also a REST API endpoint that we can query from Grafana that has the same information of the stats. So I think this would be the best option. So like if we discover that Falco already has a REST API endpoint, we could create a panel that queries those metrics, because those metrics are exposed are basically a JSON file, and yeah, and many metrics comes at a given rate. I don't remember, but different JSON objects are there. Yeah, any questions so far? Is it all clear? Was a lot of things, I guess, for and a lot of details. So yeah, feel free to jump in with questions. Okay, either everyone is super confused or or it's all clear. Let's hope for the second.
I think it's great that thank you for leading the collaboration with Falco, with Melissa, and it's happening. It's a really tough, at least for me, it's one of the toughest part, because we knew going into this that Falco, being a ABPF based tool, has some challenging kernel level actions that we'll need to monitor, and this is like the thick of it, but it seems like there is a way. And if Melissa can unblock the Prometheus exporter, that would be the best, since we could use that as the data source for the Grafana metrics. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Helpful. And then I think from this message, we also realized that Melissa is already testing on a stressful scenario our platform. So our roadmap was that we maybe had our idle metrics first in the dashboard, and then we would go on into testing Falco stressful. But then it looks like actually we can work in parallel, so she can stress the platform and check the stats, and we can also work on a Grafana panel to visualize those metrics better. So I was thinking while I was working a bit before the meeting that maybe what we miss at this point is one issue that would track or like would have an action on how to create a panel like as code, a Grafana panel or a Grafana dashboard as code that would query all the data sources. As I mean, like I think Kepler at least already, and Kubernetes metrics we can already visualize, right? Those have RESTful API endpoints, and we can build those dashboards. And then as soon as we find out how to gather the Falco related metrics, we can add that to the panel. What do you think?
So basically we need an issue to bootstrap Grafana, right?
I think Grafana is there, is it?
I mean the dashboard.
Yes, an issue for the Grafana dashboard.
An issue for that dashboard. Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe also set up in the dashboard the metrics that we can already scrape from a RESTful API endpoint. Yes.
Yes, we've already got the Kepler dashboard deployed as a config map, so that's managed by Flux. So I think if we have the issue for the new dashboard, and then we can have like a PR, and we can have it kind of managed by Flux as well. So I think we're kind of making progress there. There's just the issue of making the dashboards public. So there's just PR that adds an ingress. There will be some more setup that we'll need on top of that. We probably need like a domain and also a certificate, so we can have like our own public dashboard. I'm not quite sure the process of how we can get a domain for it, but I can ask Leo about that. Unless Sticky or Antonio, unless you know already how we can get a domain.
No, I don't know that actually, but maybe Leo knows. So if Leo's still here
I can ask him. So this PR will enable the ingress, but there's still some more work to do. We still need that domain name. And also Equinix has elastic IPs, so we can have like an elastic IP. So then if we change our worker node, we don't need to do anything with DNS. So there's a bit more setup that's there. But I can either pair with Nandish on that or work on that to get that in place as well.
All right. Yeah, like regarding the Kepler dashboard, I don't know if we could modify the existing dashboard to add the metrics that we need, or like if it would be better instead to have a complete custom dashboard from where we query some of the Kepler metrics. This we can discuss, but yet maybe I would go with the last option, so that like we have a simple dashboard which we can see only the 3-4 metrics we have selected with this issue here, which
It's just a big blob of JSON, so I think we can create a new dashboard and add panels to it individually.
Yeah, I was thinking also about, and like what is the tool to define panels as code? Is there something we can reuse?
It's mainly just a JSON that I think Flux applies. I don't remember how exactly. Or there's also a Terraform provider or Grafana that we could use potentially. I think with the Kepler one, we just have a big blob of JSON, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a config map, and I think you add a label to it, and then Grafana kind of watches for it. So I think we can probably get the config map route again.
Okay, so basically you export the JSON in the config map, and then the config map is updated, or like who updates the config map with the new data? How does this work? I don't know.
I think Flux will deploy it, and then I think Grafana looks at the label, and then it becomes visible. So I think that's how we got it working for Kepler anyway.
Okay. Then maybe we can follow the same steps for the Kubernetes metrics, and we can already see something. And then as soon as Melissa replies, we can also try to do the same for Falco metrics. Yeah, and then this would be all from my perspective, because then we have our dashboard and we can already see some data, and the idle metrics we can gather, asking Melissa to undeploy the benchmarking with Redis that she deployed. And then we can also ask to collect the same set of data for the more stressful scenario. So yeah, then I think there were some other items on the agenda. So there was one question from Euros. So what do we want to present at KubeCon? Do you want to quickly say something?
Yes, because I think we've got a talk in the maintainer track. Is that right, Nikki? Where we have the option where we can present what we're working on. And it was just really to see what we want to present there. We were talking about maybe, the idle measurements, which is what we're working currently. So we can show what we have now and also show the roadmap as well. And then, if we can present that, maybe we can get some other projects to be interested, some more contributors to be interested, post KubeCon.
Yeah, I think this is the plan. So let's hope to let's try to push a bit till KubeCon and see where we can get.
I think we have 5 weeks. Is it 5 weeks or 4 weeks? I can't remember, but it's getting quite close. Nikki?
Yes, so we have the milestone on the repo for what we want to show at KubeCon or have ready by KubeCon. I don't know if folks have seen it. It's yeah, I think if you click on that milestone, it's the correct one. Yep. No, the one after. Oh, that one is the old one. Yeah, so that's the goal for KubeCon, to have an idle test manually done, like with a cron job, and have a dashboard with some of the some of the factors of the SCI essentially, and that's basically showing the POC of what we have, how to measure the SCI of a cloud native tool using cloud native tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need a big push from now until the next 5 weeks to get everything together, but at least we have very few unknowns left, so we know what we need to do now. Like the planning is mostly done. It's time to basically execute the plan and like implement things. But yeah, if the folks here who are interested in contributing would like to do so, we do have like friendly beginner or like good first issues that can be picked up.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought that was, with this kind of being 5 weeks away, it was a good point to look back at the milestone and see where we are. Yeah, I think we're getting there. It's just going to be a busy few weeks as we head towards this.
Yeah, basically
But
this
yeah,
is more or less done. Melissa is taking care, and yeah, we need to collect and visualize. Then when this is done, we can also like we have a base for the SCI, and then we can maybe deep dive there. But yeah, like we are focusing on point 3 for the next weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I can just jump in if allowed. Yeah. I'm looking at the dashboard, like for the our backlog, and regarding the metrics which we are discussing. Yeah. I don't know if there's gonna be like I've not been participating in the project, so I don't know how far you've gone regarding this, but I can just see this from the backlog. So if there are some project that someone can just quickly jump into, yeah, then that would be something nice. I mean, to onboard me, I mean, I can easily maneuver my way over time, but I mean, just to give an helping hand regarding that. So maybe if there's something like that, I can just pick that up. I was supposed to do something initially, but yeah, I mean, work has been so crazy these days. So yeah.
Whereas this is always the case, to manage time between work and private life, and open source is always tough. But maybe if you're interested, we can think. I think like one important thing to do right now is to write the ticket for creating the dashboard, and maybe you could like, would you feel comfortable contributing to it, like writing the Grafana, the code for the Grafana dashboard, and then we can help there.
Yeah, sure. There's no ticket for that now, or are we gonna create a ticket for that?
Just
Yeah,
create
we're
it.
gonna create.
I
Nice.
just created it and adding it to the board. Should appear. There we go.
And here it is. Nice.
So it's pretty straightforward because we already have an example in the repo of the Kepler dashboard. So hopefully that is a good first issue. And you can like follow how we did that one. I'm gonna link to it, and then we can also talk more on Slack to
Okay. Mhm.
yeah.
And
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah.
yeah, oh, so just a quick one also. Can you also link to the ticket for the Kepler dashboard that you mentioned? Also, that would
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
nice.
We can.
It's this actually, but yeah, I'll add it also to the issue itself. So we need something like that, but without yeah, without any panels so that we can add them individually.
Is it here also the configuration of where is the source of the data? Because I'm not
Yeah.
very familiar with this, Jason. I never investigated. What is it? Just curiosity now, technical curiosity.
Yeah, so since it's a config map, Flux will apply it as is. So Flux works with sources, like a customization or a Git source. Like you can set up a source like that, or you can just give it a YAML with like a Kubernetes manifest, and it will just apply it as is.
Yeah, but my question
So-
was mainly like when you define these metrics, how does Grafana know where to take those metrics, or is those metrics the one defined in Prometheus? So how does Grafana know what values do those metrics have? So I'm one step before.
Do you mean the Prometheus query? I'm wondering.
Yeah, kinda exactly. Like when so this is a Prometheus query, right? So because this is also interesting for the Falco one.
Yeah. So
Because I read that it's possible that Grafana reads the data from a REST API, but yeah, I went not so deep into how it works.
it basically, when you have a Grafana dashboard, you configure which data source you want to have. And if it's Prometheus, then you can write a Prometheus query and it will visualize the Prometheus query. But if you set the data source to something else, like there's many different types of data sources other than Prometheus, then you can get just the metric from that, and then it will if it's Prometheus, because you have like you can configure a rate or something with a curve, not just with a change, not just the raw number, right, or single count. That's why Grafana will show a visualization. Whereas if you have like a curl command, I think we could get just the raw metric, and perhaps for a kernel event that would be enough to just see the count, not a rate.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be enough because like I think metrics looks like a bit like this. So it looks like there are different samples, and every sample has an event time. So I think those metrics as well will be graphed over time, right? Or at least that's my answer.
Have you? That's why I think a Prometheus exporter would make our lives much easier rather than using a different data source. I think it would be great to see.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Some delay. Go on, please.
Oh, that if we can, if I don't know, have you investigated if the Prometheus exporter has the kernel event rate, or has Melissa answered this question?
No. Where do we? Where are we tracking this question? Are we tracking this, or should we maybe should I modify the question here, and maybe you can modify this directly? Or no, this is more about this folder. Or was another place I forgot. Like there are so many places we're talking. So I don't remember if the question to the Prometheus exporter is somewhere else.
That's okay. We can figure this out like after the call, because it's just an ongoing conversation with Melissa anyway.
All right.
I saw the question somewhere, but it's okay. We'll
We
follow
can
up with
report
that.
it here as well. So like one more question. Is can we use the file exporter to load those metrics? Then I think I need a link to the 5 Prometheus exporter.
I think if I may, I think we can go to Ross, your second question.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, this was just kind of a follow-on to the presentation that Anna from Green Coding did to the tag last week. So he was presenting the Green Metrics tool that they have. Yeah, no, I found the presentation, really interesting. What I was wondering is, I'm just going to post in chat here, actually wrong link. There's a link to their to one of their tests. Antonio, would you be able to open that? It's one of the test runs for Wagtail, I think. This is definitely for kind of further future and certainly for like post KubeCon. But one of the things I was picking up when I kind of rewatched the presentation was these phases at the top here, like baseline, installation, boot, idle. Those phases actually come from Blue Angel, which is the German kind of software certification for energy. And it seemed like that might be interesting to us down the line. Because I was thinking, for example, in an installation, if a project has very like kind of large, heavy images, then maybe we could have metrics for how much that is, and they could optimize there. There might be some more phases we could monitor. I also like the way that the metrics are presented. They're using Postgres rather than Prometheus, but you can do things like compare commits and compare metrics. So I think there's a lot that we could learn here, from the tool, and just wanted to highlight it because I think it's something we can look at more maybe.
Nice. And this is like a software, is an open source software, something you pay for a license, or does this work to set it up?
Yes, yeah, it's all open source. This is the kind of public kind of testing infrastructure that runs on their hardware. But I had a bit of a look into it. There's kind of 3 containers. There's Postgres, Nginx, and they've got Unicorn. This is like a Python server. And they have like a REST API. So I mean, in one kind of possible future, we could push metrics into there and use it for visualization.
Nice.
Nikki?
I think it would be interesting to work with the with Arne for some of the unknowns that we have, especially the embedded metrics part of the SCI, because I mean, if we do want to embrace the SCI fully, we're going to need metrics for that. And that is something that we don't have we haven't began that work at all. So I think it's interesting that we have a very different architecture. So we can provide 2 different sets of like architectural references for how to do the SCI. But we can definitely learn from this project for the things that we have like no idea how to implement, such as the metrics for the embedded embedded carbon.
Yes, yeah, I think, and I think they've got kind of their example configurations, how they run things as well. But yeah, I'm the same. I mean, maybe we can get some figures from Equinix for the embodied carbon, but it's still an area I've worked with either. So if we can maybe get feedback from Anna, maybe he could join one of our calls as a follow-up meeting. I think it's good to have that kind of collaboration, because I think what we're working on is very similar. They're just using a different architecture, because I think it's more kind of Docker based. You create like a Docker compose file for the test you want to run, but I think what the actual process though is quite similar to what we're working on. So I think maybe we could have a tracking issue to come back to this, and just be interested in how we can kind of keep up the collaboration there.
Nice. This will be for more after the KubeCon, right? What do you think?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think the current focus on getting the idle measurement is good. This is maybe to come back for when we're ready to start looking at more phases.
But it's a really interesting benchmark. Luckily, I didn't manage to be there when she presented, but I guess it's worth to rewatch the presentation, or like the meeting tag, the tag meeting.
Yes, yeah,
Nice,
we
thanks,
posted
thanks for
in
sharing.
the channel, and so yeah, it's definitely worth have a look at the recording if you're interested.
Right, yeah, like this looks like it's already well structured and looks nice from a UI perspective. That looks advanced. Nice. Then I think I saw another point from Jochen. I hope I pronunciate that correctly, Jochen.
Just
Would you like?
perfectly. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Hi, everyone. Some of you may already know me from the other meetings from the tag. First time here, so excuse me if this is perhaps a bit of a stupid question, since you already talked to, or Arne already talked to you about the green metrics tool. I have a related question. There is a tool called EcoCI, which can be used to report to the green metrics tool. And as the name suggests, it is reporting the energy consumed, or an estimation of the energy consumed during your CI pipeline runs. So the build pipeline testing, stuff like that, can be measured. And I was curious whether that would be something that we want to try integrate into the Falco CI pipelines. And I just wanted to kind of get to know the situation a little bit more better, since I haven't really had the time to investigate this myself, and also I haven't seen Arna's presentation. So I don't know how much you already know about this EcoCI tool. Yeah, since it is related, it's from the same people.
Yeah, I don't know much about this EcoCI tool, but I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ross and Nikki, maybe, I mean, CI/CD pipeline measurements would also be nice, but also something that would be after KubeCon as focus, because now we have our milestone, and then we can jump back later to this once everything else is settled. So, but definitely it's also a nice suggestion. Thanks.
Yes, I think it's a really nice suggestion. And one of the things we're thinking about is using GitHub as self-hosted runner to use GitHub Actions for scheduling. So if we could use that with EcoCI, that would be really nice then, because then we could also measure, the run. So yeah, I think it's something that's post-KubeCon, but it's a really good chat, and it's something we should investigate to see if we can plug into it.
That would be awesome, yeah, because I'm looking for opportunities to use that tool. I've played around with it a little bit. It looks fine for simple cases now, but I think we can actually also help each other out here by extending the EcoCI tool, making it better because right now, for instance, one limitation that I ran into is that it can only monitor or measure or estimate pipelines that have every job in kind of a string fashion, right? As soon as there are parallel jobs, the EcoCI tool will only be able to monitor one of these jobs that run in parallel. It's kind of getting across what the issue is. So yeah, and then of course I think that's what you just mentioned a little bit, Ross, is how can we use this tool to optimize runs, right? How can we maybe make runs carbon aware, or make runs obsolete, or cancel runs, especially things like nightly builds, if there are no new changes that need to go into a nightly build, because a developer just before leaving his desk triggered a run, and there are no new changes for a nightly run, then we can of course save energy by just not doing the nightly run and using the build artifacts from the previous run. Stuff like that, and I kind of want to check how big the potential is, and I do realize that those optimizations aren't easy to do for multiple reasons. But yeah, I absolutely agree that this would be something for post-KubeCon EU.
Nikki?
Johan, maybe you could create an issue already, and then we can have this ready to go once we have the GitHub action, the self-hosted runners set up, because now we're doing until KubeCon, we're probably not going to use self-hosted runners. But then right after, we're going to try to automate the benchmark tests, and we could, well, then we'll have GitHub actions, and then you're free to
Nice.
use that.
Awesome.
That's why we build it.
Would you like me to add a link to the chat to the tool, or should I link the tool in the meeting minutes somewhere, or
No,
is
please,
it obvious
yeah.
where to find it? Okay,
Please put as
I
much
will.
info as possible. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I will.
All right. Yeah, anything which is not on the agenda, anything else we would like to discuss, some other open points I forgot?
I did want to bring up one thing. I think if you could go in the issue board, we have one issue that I added a couple hours ago. So it's the one for the script, the second to last, right below this one. Yep, this one. So right, so as part of our goals for KubeCon, we want to have the metrics on the one hand. That's probably the majority of what we're going to be working on from now until KubeCon. Another part is we do want to start the benchmark testing setup. We can start with a script, and we can create a cron job for now. In Kubernetes has crons as well, like a manifest that we can just set up. And I added some of the steps that I suggest, and maybe we can discuss them here. I think this would be also a good first issue that we can collaborate on and help with, because it's like pretty self-contained, and we can always change it. And modify it. But yeah, so essentially, this is going to be automated later on with GitHub Actions, but we already want to have some of the steps, and then we can port them onto a GitHub Action workflow. And so some of the steps I'm proposing is to first have, validate that Falco is up and running. We want to, maybe we just split the steps in two. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself with having idle and active at the same time. We're going to assume the first test is idle. If the test is idle, we don't deploy the microservice workload. And we wait for 15 minutes so we can just sleep for 15 minutes. And then we need to log some of the metrics for that period of time, which I am not sure how we're going to do. That's probably the interesting challenge in this, is how are we going to graph the last 15 minutes in the panels, like for all the metrics that we want to be collecting for a certain test. I think with Prometheus, there should be a way, but I am not completely sure. But this needs a bit of investigation. And yeah, the acceptance criteria are just that, like with any benchmark test, we need reproducible steps. So that's why we're going with the script for now. We need a set duration. So I'm proposing 15 minutes, but this we can change. And yeah, and we need a way to track the metrics for that test as an output. I would love your feedback. This is kind of a proposal, but maybe we can change this issue a little bit. Maybe remove, maybe like simplify it. Russ?
Yes, yeah. I was thinking maybe we can start even just by querying Prometheus and writing the logs to the job so we can just see the export. Because yeah, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get the metrics into Prometheus. It would be useful to have some kind of concept of like a test run similar to Metrics tool where you can see the run. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to kind of represent that within Prometheus. I looked at a couple of ways. There's a method called push gateway, which doesn't seem that widely used, but lets you push metrics in. I guess the other option would be to have an exporter that keeps running in during the script, and then Prometheus could scrape it, and then the script would stop once it's there. I have written Prometheus exporters in the past. I've probably got more experience of that than using Push Gateway. But maybe even at a first iteration, we could just create Prometheus and then just write the output to the job, and then we can work on it kind of step by step. Yeah, but I think this is a really good issue, to get started, and we can start working on the design for it. And yeah, I think also keeping the focus on idle for now, makes sense. We can get that part fully working, and then we can start working on active as a later step.
I updated the description, so Antonia, if you refresh so we can see the changes. Yeah, I think writing in the job output is a good idea. Let's just keep it super simple, and then we're gonna find a way to link the output with Grafana dashboard somehow. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
I have one question regarding this idle test, because I believe this, so like when I take a look here on the on our cluster, this driver modern, I think are running this benchmark already, right? So I guess this is all part of the configuration that is there on the CNCF on the Falco repo. At least I think I saw it somewhere. Let's see if I can find it again. But here in the code, customize, and then maybe Falco driver. No, Falco generic. No, then maybe those were came out. Let's see. This stress ng. Falco driver came out. Are those called Redis driver modern and stress ng? So I'm not sure, but I think like already some benchmarking are running. So question would be, do you think we should ask Melissa at some point to withdraw those tests to let us, like when we're ready, to let us gather some metrics idle, and then we ask her again to put it back? Or like, is it something that we should control maybe, like if the benchmark is on or off, so that we don't have to care? So I was wondering if we could basically have control on the benchmark and maybe separate them a bit. But this is a question also if she wants to change the benchmark along the way with the measures. So yeah, how we want to handle that basically. It's a tough question. I don't know if I managed to come across with this kind of problem in this step.
Yeah, I didn't realize that these benchmarks were running. So we need to coordinate with Melissa to see. Well,
yeah,
we're
But
not
I just
communicating.
Yeah, I think it's good that she has the benchmark so that she finds the better way to install Falco and all that is needed. And then when she's done, maybe we can find a way to tell her, okay, stop the benchmarking or get the benchmarking on. But I think in this use case, the cloud microservice demo maybe becomes a bit useless, right? Because she knows better how to benchmark the application, and looks like those set of benchmarks are more interesting for her. So looks like also we don't need the cloud service demo in the future. But yeah, I don't know if you have the same feeling.
Yeah, let's talk with Melissa and make sure we're on the same page. I don't know. I just want to ask. So we'll do that. Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Then from my side, it's all. But thanks for getting started also for the script. I think it's a nice starting point. We can reiterate on that.
Any general points, comments, questions from anyone?
Yeah, I think with 4 minutes on the clock, we can also close, right? Like usually we finish 1-2 minutes later, but it would be nice to finish 1-2 minutes earlier this time.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're on the right path. We have a lot of work to do, but we have a plan. Like we know what we're doing, which is exciting. Like I would rather know what needs to happen and just go ahead and do it than where we were, 4 months ago, where everything was new and unknown. So
yeah, step by step, things are rolling. It's really exciting.
Yes, we've come a long way since then, and yeah, there's still plenty to do, but it's exciting to be at that stage.
You have huge respect from me. I am amazed to see how much you have done and how much you're doing.
Thanks. It really means a lot.
Thank you. And Sam, thank you for volunteering. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
All right.
All right,
So
then
have
I'll
a
stop
great
the
day.
recording.
See you. Bye bye.